So I'm going to introduce Dr. Aman to y'all. He is a consulting psychotherapist, a relationship counselor, and he is someone who has played a very, very important role in my journey of getting here. He's one of my most favorite teachers. He makes everything so much fun and he makes everything so easy. And he makes everything seem like you can cope. So we are very lucky to have him here to help us cope with our relationships. So, how's it going, Dr. Aman?
And I also defeated Thanos. No, I'm just kidding. You say all these lovely things about me. Thank you for the warm words. I'm doing fine. Given the situation in Bombay with the coronavirus, I think
Yes,
as fine as anyone can be, right? Locked at home, trying
yes,
to keep our
yes.
minds and bodies active and busy. So yeah, here I am.
Yes, we're all trying to cope with this pandemic and everything it has to bring forth. So
That's
let's
right.
get to
Yeah.
it. What I
Adjusting the AC,
found.
Sohini? Is it hot enough?
Yeah,
Are you okay? What are you doing? What are you looking for God?
currently
Is that you?
I'm always looking. I'm always looking for God. We have some time here, so can't afford to be lot.
All
Yeah.
right, absolutely.
So basically, I ran a series of questions yesterday where people asked me questions about relationships. And the most common question that I found was that how do we cope with our relationships in this pandemic? Either we are in each other's space and we are struggling, or we are very, very apart and we are struggling.
So, I mean, the problems are multifaceted, really. If you're in your face all the time, each other's faces all the time, then why are you not giving each other space? Why are you guys constantly not, giving each other time to do things that are important to you all as
Right,
individuals? Because I believe
right,
for any relationship to feel normal, be normal, and feel well adjusted, where you all fit in nicely together, you gotta give each other the space to breathe, man. You can't just constantly be in each other's laps 24 hours. I'm sure she has work to do. I'm sure he has work to do. And that
right,
work needs to be as separate from your partner as possible because that's an individual endeavor, which is important for you to do because that's a part of your identity. See, don't forget, the person who is with you has a certain appreciation for your identity, and that identity is connected with all these other things that you do, which don't involve them. So, for your identity to
right,
stay untarnished, you got to give yourself time to be who you are, to do the things you like, to do the things you need to do to stay professionally viable. So, yes, why are you in each other's faces all the time if the situation is what it is? In fact, you got to give each other some space. Now, the other side of it is if you spend a lot of time apart from your partner, to be
right,
honest, no one's ever 100% apart really because there's always WhatsApp, Instagram, phone calls, video calls. So, of course, it's not the real thing. If you are spending time away from your partner and you really miss her or you really miss him, make sure they know that they are on your mind. It's very important to express these things as well, because the other
right,
person may be waiting for you to say something and then you're waiting for them to say something. So it's very important to
right,
express yourselves to each other, to say, I love you, I miss you, I'm thinking about you. Because these sweet nothings might seem very common, or they may feel like something that everyone does, but they feel very personal to the person who you really care about, especially if y'all are spending time apart from each other because of the inevitabilities of the situation at hand, really, right now. So if you
right,
are
right.
constantly each other's face and constantly in each other's space, that's not healthy. I think also being apart for too long and not seeing each other for a very long time, that also comes with its challenges. So too much of
Right.
anything is a problem. I believe you got to make time for each other in the virtual world in the way that is safe given the situation. So that's what I feel. I don't know if I've scratched the belly of the beast, but you guys can ask me whatever y'all want.
So basically, you're saying that one needs to figure out that fine line that you draw in terms of space and distance. And that's
Yes,
very personalized in every relationship.
absolutely. See, there is no textbook written on how to love your partner. And even if there is,
That
it'll
would be
mostly.
so easy.
That's why Sohini was looking on top for the answers.
Yeah, I'm looking
all
for
of
God.
us, all of us are looking for templates, and templates don't exist. Templates have to be adapted. Yes, there are best practices, but those aren't templates. A template is something that you can just take and retrofit. So sometimes
Yes,
it may not feel as organic. You have to see what your partner is. Is your partner someone who really requires verbal acknowledgement, physical acknowledgement? If the answer is yes, please give that to your partner. Say, I'm wearing checks today. So don't try to checkmate your partner. Don't be combative and competitive with your partner. I said, I miss you 8 times, but you said, I miss you 6 times. That means that I have 2 times more on you. Don't make love and relationships a scorekeeping exercise. Okay.
hmm,
I keep saying it's not
yeah,
a competition, it's a collaboration. It's about sharing in addition to
lovely.
caring and showing how you care. Show it, show it, show it. Show it. Don't hold back. Show it. And at the same time, sometimes, even if you're not constantly around your partner, there are ways to show that you care. If you give her the space she needs and deserves when she is busy and you're not constantly hounding her for her time, that shows care. If she has a
Right,
certain ritual that is very important to her, maybe she has a certain type of exercise routine, maybe she likes to watch her favorite series on Netflix at a certain time of the day after she's done with her work, maybe she likes, spending time with important people that are not you. And if you don't
right,
interfere with that, even though you might be wanting to be a part of her life as much as possible, that also shows care. So it's very important to understand the nuances of your partner's schedule so that you understand where you fit in organically rather than trying to force yourself in every position and every corner of their life, because then that gets a little bit clingy, a bit it almost gets a little bit what's the word, overbearing, you know what I mean,
and exhausting.
and
Yeah,
exhausting for the
yeah,
partner as well.
yes.
So
So,
yeah,
like a silent support is
silent
sometimes what you
support
could
is
offer.
very
Yes,
important, and if she is perceptive enough, she'll know that even though he's not actively in the room or in my face or below my building or on WhatsApp at this moment, he's still somewhere in the background giving me the space. Same, and it's not gender specific, all right? You
right,
have to you have
right.
to give each other space.
Of course, of course. I think eventually it all boils down to space. How much space are you giving, and how well are you communicating
That's right.
and showing your love, right?
Yep.
Um, there's another question that I got yesterday. I mean, it's in collation with what you're saying right now in terms of space. She told me that she's engaged to someone and he is not allowing her to work post marriage. He wants her to work, but with him. And she's unable to communicate to him that she does not want to do that.
Why is she
So that
unable
is,
to communicate to him? That's what would be my first question to you. Why are you unable? What happens if you communicate to him? Does he flare up? Does he say, shut up, do what I'm saying? Or does he start ignoring her? The cold shoulder treatment? So what exactly happens? Sometimes we have to ask ourselves how
hmm,
these situations are likely to play out before we try to analyze them in their totality. So what happens if she says, I'm not interested in joining forces with you in the workplace? You're good enough as a partner, but not as a business partner. A romantic partner is good enough. What happens if she says that to him? Does he say, I don't
so
want
do
you
you,
anymore? Does he say, I don't want to marry you anymore? What does he say? What's the worst case scenario? Always ask yourself that question. And if you get an answer, ask yourself, is there a way in which that worst case scenario can be prevented? And while preventing it, are you bargaining something? Are you selling something of yourself and you're in this shaky situation? Or are you comfortable with the resolution you have found?
so do you think that this fear comes from your own evaluation of yourself, your own perception of yourself? That's where the lack
What's
of communication.
It's multifaceted. What if the partner is a bully? What if the partner is very controlling? What if the partner doesn't believe that women have the right to choose what their professional affiliations are? What if the partner has male partner, assuming, has grown up in a house where the women were rather disenfranchised. They didn't have the right to do anything other than what they were told to do. Maybe his mother, his grandmother, and an
Right.
entire generation of women before his to-be wife have been treated in this manner where they were just shoved around, shunted around, and largely given instructions. And maybe that's all he knows. Maybe that's his exposure. That's his cultural upbringing. So maybe that's what he expects, that, all right, you're my partner and I expect 100% compliance. Maybe he doesn't understand the new age concept of collaboration, negotiation. See, nothing is unilateral in a relationship, Sohini. Nothing. You cannot force terms of a relationship on someone. You have to
Yes.
negotiate for these things, whether it's negotiating about how fast you want the relationship to proceed towards its final destination, whether it's how fast you want to jump into certain activities and projects and shared endeavors together, how quickly do you all want a child, etc. These all have to be negotiated. It can't just be one person's decision. And if you see someone as being very vehement about something, that, oh, no, 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 I don't want to get pregnant for the first 3 years, or, oh, no, 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 I absolutely need you to come and support me in my business. You have to ask yourself a question: am I comfortable giving in to this
Hmm.
request?
Yeah.
Is it something very major that is being asked of me that goes against my values, or is it something that I can live with, something that I can give into? Because believe it or not, in every relationship, there's a fair bit that you will have to give into, and there's a fair bit that your partner will have to give into, because that's what
Right.
relationships are. It's this
Of course. Of
tightrope
course.
and this ability to balance between each other's expectations. And know this: your partner may not 100% share your expectations. They may have completely different expectations, but they will water it down for you if you are doing the same for them. So it's a little bit of compromise. What does a Seema auntie say in marriage? Thoda compromise kar lo beta.
Ah.
Why do All right, but that doesn't mean that your partner gets the right to treat you like shit under the name of compromise. You don't compromise on your vision for your life, but you
Yeah.
can
That's where you
compromise
draw
on
your
small
line.
things. Compromise on a few small logistics. A few dates have been moved. Thoda aage piche. A few business goals have been moved aage piche. That can be done with negotiation. It cannot be a deal breaker, and if it is a deal breaker, then you need to ask yourself whether he's recruiting you to join his firm, or he's invested in you romantically to support you, to watch
Right.
you grow, to nurture you, to love you, to bring a baby into this world with you. What does he want? Or is he just trying to save his business? It could be both of these things, could be none of these things, but you got to find out, right?
Yes. So communication. That is the key.
That is the key.
And and breakups. A breakup seems to be a struggle where usually one person stays hooked on to their ex and they're unable to leave in their minds. I around in yesterday, six people asked me about breakups. I didn't address it
Right.
because I saved this specially for you,
Hmm.
where they've all asked about how do they get over their ex.
Give it
That's
time. Give it time and give it discipline. A lot of people don't know what a breakup means. Sometimes they think a breakup is just a shake up, that we'll just stop meeting them. It's the word breakup has the word break in it. That means something has to break for it to be considered a
yeah,
breakup. So the communication needs to break. Visibility of each other's social media.
yeah,
There's got to be a break from that. There's not just breakups take place in romantic relationships, even with family members, even with friends. A breakup is a decision to no longer associate with another human being. Let's understand the description of it. So if you have decided to not associate, then these pseudo associations of checking their Insta story, of
yeah.
checking what their WhatsApp status is, how when were they last online, these are what I call as pseudo approaches. Then it's not clean, right? Like, you got to figure out what your goal is first. Of course, you're going to hurt. I've not yet, I've been through breakups in the past, and of course, it hurts. Every time it hurts, and every time you tell yourself, I can't take another one of these, and somehow you do. If you've had multiple
Right.
relationships, somehow you do. Of course, it's unfortunate. It's really shit. And believe with me, as someone who's been through it, I know the pain. I know the tears. I know the Coldplay songs that people listen to when they're going through a breakup.
I think we've all been through it.
क्या है उस ग्लास के अंदर, right? People will drink their way through pain. either they gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight, or they start on this yatra of motivational quotes on Instagram that are meant for a desired audience. People do all kinds of
Right.
things. But let's understand one
Right.
thing. It's painful. And in order to mitigate the pain, what do the medical fraternity recommend? Painkillers, right? So
Right.
the painkiller I recommend is giving it time, because with time it will heal, and also keep it clean. You want to cut someone out of your life, do it correctly, get them off your social media, block their number, all right? And the only way
Yeah.
they should be able to reach you is if they want to send you a letter in the post box. That's it.
Or reach or land up at your doorstep.
Yeah, the only way is they should be able to reach you. That way, and if they
Right.
really want to apologize and make
Then
amends,
it's yeah.
sure, but then they should know your address, and there are ways to find out a person's address through their network and
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I really
Yes.
need to reach this person, and I've been blocked everywhere. I really want to
Yeah.
apologize." But most people will not take the effort. Kaun mehnat karega? Who wants to do it?
No.
Ego is there, anger is there, resentment is there. So the breakup has to be a break up,
Hmm.
all right,
Yeah.
not just a shake up. Ki, oh no,
Break
no, we
and
didn't
go
talk.
up.
Yeah, and go up and look up
Yeah.
like Sohini.
I'm always
Keep
looking
looking
up.
up.
Always.
Thanks,
Upwards and
guys.
forward.
Someone saying they like my new look. This is a lockdown haircut I gave myself. I was so embarrassed by it. I don't think my parents are the biggest fans, but yeah, man, it is what it is. It's the best I can do trying to cut my own hair and beard. What am I going to do, right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't risk that on myself.
No,
If you
no, we
want to do
gotta,
it.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. You gotta risk some things on yourself. It's not just a haircut. You gotta risk new approaches in your relationship as well
Yes.
sometimes,
Yes.
because something's
Yes.
not working. If something's clearly not worked for you across the relationships you've been in, you gotta ask yourself, why am I in the same situation again and again and again? Because
Yeah.
there is always something hidden about our
Mm.
personalities. There's always something hidden about our habits that even we don't know about, which is why it's very important to really know yourself very well as an individual. What are your hot buttons? What are your trigger points? What are your weaknesses? What are the insecurities that you've been carrying
Mm.
with you since you were young? Isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
What are the common areas that tend to get you really, really angry? And what do you usually have issues with in your partners, right?
Yes. Yes.
So for me, as
So
I say,
that
communication is, you correctly said a short while ago, communication is important, but how is that communication? Is it respectful communication? Is it well timed? So you can't force communication on someone. Maybe they've had a tiring day. Maybe they may
right.
not be in the space to, take on a barrage. So you always say, I have something important to discuss. Is it all right? This is very important to me. I'd like to share it. Can we chat? Always ask,
Yeah.
always check. It's not a formality. It's also because you want to make sure your partner is ready to accept
Yes.
your
Yes.
opinions in that space, isn't it?
And that's going to work for you if it's your advantage. If you time your
Right.
communication correctly and in a respectful fashion, it's only working for you because you're probably going to receive what it is that you're looking for over being impulsive or reactive,
Yep. Yep.
right? Yeah, so I was also going to ask you now about these cycles that we get into. We leave
Okay.
one relationship. You already addressed it actually. You
Okay.
leave one relationship and you get back into the same cycle. You keep attracting the same pattern over and over and over again.
Okay.
So what is it that we're doing that we're getting back into the same pattern again and again? Like someone who's out of an abusive relationship will slip back into an abusive relationship.
Well, it's a question of taste, isn't it? I mean, sometimes we are attracted to certain types of people because they complete a certain narrative for us. Suppose
Right.
a guy believes that, oh, I don't deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. Then
Hmm.
somehow he will find a partner who doesn't treat him with respect and dignity. Maybe she's very dominating. Maybe she's very, very abusive and verbally. Maybe she's always putting him through these various tests. Maybe she plays, games with him,
Mind games. Yeah.
mind games. So it's really a question of how you see yourself and what narratives are you trying to complete within yourself, and who from the outside world is coming as a nice character, addition to help you complete that inner narrative. In TA, you might remember we call them scripts,
Yes.
isn't it? So
Yes.
it's not so much the relationship that is toxic, it is what you are inviting into your life that may pan out as being toxic because it wasn't a good fit for you. You see,
Yes.
like if
Yes.
I wear a shirt that is a small size, I look ridiculous in it because my shoulders are a certain width, I have a certain body
Yeah.
type. I'll fit into a large or an extra large because my body is built a certain way. Despite all the
Right.
fitness and exercises, certain things you cannot change. I can't saw off my bone from here to make my shoulders. I have very broad shoulders. I mean, there used to be a joke in college, I can sleep on my own shoulders on a train. You know, it's genetics. So similarly, there is a certain aspect of your personality that is very that cannot you cannot escape from. Of course, I keep saying this that you design your personality. But yes, some parts of your personality you do inherit through genetics. So some
Right.
things you cannot change immediately overnight. So you have to know the inner workings of how you uh, function as a human being, as I
Right.
said. And only if
Right.
you know yourself will you know what you want from another person.
Yes.
And
Yes.
everyone takes a different amount of time to really come to terms with who they are. Some people spend their entire 30s, 40s, 50s, and their 60s, suddenly they realize, oh, so this is who I was. Ah, some people in their late 20s, like for me, I didn't know who I was till my late 20s. I was always trying to please other people. I was always trying
Hmm.
to do more, say more, be more. And I realized in my early 20s that the reason I was doing it was because a part of me believes that I wasn't, doing enough. I felt like, no,
Hmm.
no, I need to do more, I need to do more, I need to do more.
And
Right.
why? Are you looking for validation when
Absolutely.
you're the
What
overgiver?
someone, Jay Morzaria, my friend, has said, you have to be extremely aware about yourself as a person. And that awareness has to be constantly updated because who you are at 25 is not who you'll be at 35, is not who you'll be at 45. So the awareness is a
Absolutely.
dynamic awareness. It's not that, oh, I know who I am. Ta-da, that's it. It doesn't end there. All
Yes.
right. Because there are things happening in your life that are testing you, that are pushing you. So you realize things about yourself. Oh, I'm a very demanding person, demanding of myself, or I'm very impatient, or I'm very scared, or I'm very irritable, or I'm very optimistic, or I tend to only overanalyze everything. You got to know these things about yourself.
Yes. Someone has spoken about the five love languages.
Very
That is,
popular, Gary Chapman. You can
yeah.
Google it as
Yes.
well. What are the five love languages? There's some nice graphics you can find on them on Google. Yeah.
Yes. So you land up actually looking for what you believe, and you keep going back into the same cycle again and again because that's what you believe.
Yeah. You want to
So you have to change the
perpetuate
belief,
what you believe so that the world fits to match your beliefs. This is how all human beings operate. We will
whether you agree with it
create,
or not.
absolutely, whether you agree with it or not, people have to understand this, that a lot of the situations that you find yourself in are being subconsciously designed by you. You are designing a situation to play out in a way. It's like this, if a guy believes he is unlovable, he will
Mm.
be with a partner who doesn't give him the fair amount of respect and attention and care that he actually yearns for, but he believes he's unlovable. So he'll keep provoking her in ways so that she says, fine, I don't like you, I'm sick of you, I'm tired of you. And then he says, ah, I knew it.
I
After all, I
I
knew I
told you
was
so. Yeah,
unlovable.
I
I
already
told you
knew.
so. Mujhe to pata tha that I'm
Yeah.
unlovable. But that's because you believed it. You acted in a certain way that got you the kick, that got you the rejection that you anyway were primed for. Because you believe rejection is the only thing you can get. If you believe I'm hot shit, I'm really, really resourceful, kind, I'm someone who is, anyone would be really fortunate to be with. If you actually genuinely believe that, then people will also see that in your behavior, in the way you carry yourself, in the way you dress, in the way you
Yeah.
speak, in the way you project yourself. Uh, so you got to genuinely believe it because good acting is not worth much. Your mask will fall after a certain point,
Always.
isn't it?
It will wear out.
Yeah.
Ask and it's given. Is that so?
Ask what? What do you want? Ice cream? Depends on what you're asking for. Very often somebody will call me and say, "Oh, Dr. Aman, I would like a favor from you." I say, it always depends on the favor. What is the favor? I'm not just going to say, of course,
Of
anything for you.
course.
Just ask away. Always
Sign your house down.
pry, pry beneath the surface. Always look for getting into the situation in a comprehensive manner. Look for all the information.
Yes. And I think that's important even in your relationships before you make an assumption or an inference about why the person is behaving the way they did.
That's right.
Get the information
Get the
because all your,
information,
yes, a lot of
subconsciously
your
ask, and
problem.
it's given. Oh God, we're not going to get into that space, Mansi. We're not going to, none of this, the secret stuff, all right? We're talking about real world practical applications of how we want to get into happy relationships and, explore that compatibility to see it towards its inevitable and desirable finish line.
Yes, yes. That is something I don't believe in too much as well. Rather have a
Yeah.
rational approach
Be
to be
practical.
able
Make it
to,
happen. Don't wait for the universe.
to
Make it
hand it
happen.
off.
You want something, go get it.
Yes.
Work for
Go
it.
get it and you will get it by
Yeah,
working for it.
you will. If you work diligently and smartly, you will get most things.
Connecting it to attracting the partners in a pattern.
All right,
Huh,
let's move
okay.
on with the questions. We'll read the chat line a little later. Bolo bolo.
Yes. Um, Also, another question that I was asked was about the conditioning that happens in our Indian homes about how do you beat male chauvinism.
Hmm.
I am not a feminist. I am pro all genders. But this is a question that I often get asked. There's a lot of chauvinism, even in their own moms. So, how do
Hmm.
women who are experiencing chauvinism from their own women, apart from the homes that they're living in with their in-laws and their husbands, how do they beat that?
Well, they refuse to recognize it. How do you beat the lion in the jungle? You don't go to the jungle where the lion is. So in the house itself, you don't engage in conversations, you don't engage in debates, because if a debate or conversation could change the way people have been thinking for generations or for their entire life at least, then WhatsApp would be like some kind of magic balm, because there are debates
Yes.
happening every day on every group.
Yeah.
See, a debate is usually carried out for a sense of catharsis, not usually for a sense of resolution, because people are going to stick to what they've always believed unless they themselves feel the need to evolve their perspectives. So, if there is a chauvinistic household, largely you'll have to ignore a lot of things that come your way. But if you're one of those people who says, "Oh no, I'm going to stand up for my right," then you have to do it, and there is a prize that comes with it. Every time you have a strong opinion about something, know that there is someone who has an equally strong opinion that opposes what you are saying. So then, inevitably,
Right.
a debate will happen, and a debate usually doesn't end as I said, in a resolution or a victory. A debate usually ends in a ceasefire. All right,
Yeah. So
like an
essentially, what you're
armistice,
saying,
like a social armistice. That where the war
yeah,
hasn't ended, but we have put our guns down, and now we're just looking at each other.
yeah,
Here's looking at you, kid. The
yeah,
famous line from
yeah,
Hollywood. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you're saying that sometimes putting your armor down is also empowerment.
No, no, that's not what I said. I said sometimes it's important to just let some things flow and move past you. You're not going to change a generational mindset over WhatsApp. And the solution is not going to happen overnight. The solution is that you stop getting affected by these things. Number one. Number two, is it undesirable? Yes. Do you and I agree it's undesirable? Yes. But if you're not going to be able to convince the person that chauvinism is undesirable, then why lock horns with them?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You stop the fight. You put your armor down
Stop the
and you say,
fight.
I'm not engaging with you. Like that's it.
Yeah, just don't engage. You don't have to say I'm not engaging with you. Just through your body language or say, oh, okay, yeah, okay, thank you for letting me know. Bye, I need to go somewhere. So you gotta,
Hmm.
dodge and belly roll your way out of many situations in life, because you know that there is no winning or losing in that situation. It's just going to get messy. So I usually say that the best thing to do is disengage and just ignore. Unless it's directly affecting you. Someone is chauvinistic and says, I believe a woman should not work after marriage, then ask yourself, why are you with such a person who is against your development and growth and progress and self-upgradation and against you having the right to do whatever the hell you want as a woman, as a working woman, as someone who, also has a certain amount of pride in a certain skill or craft that she may have acquired after years of training, years and years of training, right? So for example, I don't understand why it's always been a woman's duty to manage the kitchen. Really, why is it that our Indian guys can't cook? Why can't you make simple stuff? Yeah, make omelets, make cheese sandwiches, make a simple bhaji. Yeah, some stir
Yeah.
fry some palak doesn't even take 6 minutes. Or use the grill,
Yeah.
put everything in the goddamn grill and just grill it at 160 degrees and it cooks. Put salt and pepper if you don't know what else to put. Why is it
Yeah.
that, oh no, no, a woman must know how to cook? Oh no, no, a man must always be working. See, you have to design a lifestyle that suits your personality type, not the
Yes.
other way around.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that, and so there has to be understood. Like, are you someone who doesn't want a very hectic 9 to 5 kind of lifestyle? You want a little more leeway, a little more flexibility. You like you like your flexi schedule. You don't want to do late nights. You don't like working on weekends. What are you all about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Answer that first, and then go and try to fight against the outside forces.
Absolutely. Understand your own thought process and what your own scripts
Absolutely. Or
are.
don't fight at all. The way I would handle it, and I'm saying this now, of course, there was a time, and probably still a couple of times I may want to, get into a debate or, say, no, 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 this is what I believe. They'll say, no, 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 but this is what I believe. And then I realize the futility of it. And I'm like, all right, these are 20 minutes I won't get back. And usually not more than 20 minutes I'll give to a difference of opinion because I know innately that that person is not going to change their opinion. However, I say my point. I respectfully bow out. I say, okay, we agree to disagree. Tata, bye bye. That's it.
But sometimes you want your khana tikha, sometimes you want your khana salted, sometimes you want it meetha.
Absolutely.
So keep the
Absolutely.
spice going.
Like the
Yeah.
full thali.
Let's absolutely. Let's spend some time on men.
Okay.
Men um, spend a large part of their lives not being validated for their emotions.
Yeah.
Men
Yeah.
don't
It's a big problem.
cry. Yes, men don't cry. Men should not express themselves because the moment they raise their voice, they are being accused of being violent and aggressive. He has to hold the entire weight of his home, his wife's shopping, maybe, his children's education, all on his shoulders. And he is not given the space to express. And he himself is conditioned not to express.
This comes from a
And
time when men mostly went out to fight wars. If you see the history of mankind, there were a lot of uh, territory-based wars. That this is my land now, these are my crops now, these are my people now, this is my kingdom now. Guys showing up on horses with spears saying, "I want this." So men were expected to exude strength and valor on the battlefield. So it comes from that, cultural generational mindset that since you are out there
yeah,
constantly in the line of
yeah,
fire, you got to be the strong one. But you're no
yeah,
longer fighting battles. You're sitting and watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Netflix now, and your
yes,
पेट आ गया
yeah,
है, and you're just
yeah,
deciding दाल के साथ fried fish चाहिए कि fried भिंडी चाहिए. These are our daily struggles.
yeah,
Those of us who
yeah, yeah.
live well in a city like Mumbai, we have most of our needs met. Men are no longer fighting battles. Okay, so this whole men don't cry mindset also needs to expire, in my opinion. But of course, just because I'm sitting here with the lovely Sohini and saying it needs to expire doesn't mean it's going to happen.
It doesn't mean it has to happen. Yeah.
It won't happen. It has to begin with you, the individual, you, the man. As I said, focus, limit your focus to yourself. समाज का ठेकेदारी मत उठाइए. अपना
Yeah.
अपना घर देखिए. What start with
Yeah.
yourself. Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh are constantly crying in their movies. I don't understand this,
Yeah.
yeah. They're the
Yeah.
manliest men that you can get. There's nothing wrong in
And everyone
crying.
is loving their tears. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
love
And
their
at
tears.
the same
Men
time, when
hurt
your
too.
man cries,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. And at the same time, when your man cries, you're either turned off or you're suddenly finding him weak or not capable enough of holding fort or supporting you. And you break him
Don't
further.
forget, it's
And
not just the man's job to take care of the woman, it's also the woman's job to
it's
take
also
care
the
of the man.
woman's
And you got
job
to
to
take
take
care
care
of
of the
each
man.
other. Those
Absolutely.
responsibilities have to, sort of
Absolutely.
cross-pollinate,
Absolutely.
right?
Just as you expect him to cook, why isn't it
Yeah.
okay if he wants to stay home
At
and
least
just
make a
be a
bloody
stay-at-home dad?
upma or something for her, no, bichari. Have some upma and fried eggs, a poor fellow will make. Let him make, yeah.
Yeah.
Karne do usko. Everyone should do everything. See, in cities like Mumbai, Sohini, you and I know this, life is expensive, yeah. You know,
Yes. Yes.
life is
Yes.
expensive. So it's very difficult to live a good life in a nice high rise unless, both partners are contributing financially, logistically, and most importantly, emotionally.
Emotionally, yes.
Everyone's going to have bad days. Everyone's going to have long days. Some days you're just not in the mood and you're just like, yeah, whatever. My day was okay. It's normal. The man will go through
Yeah.
it. The woman will go through
Yeah.
it. But,
Yeah.
if he is available for her to take care of her, press her shoulders, sit with her to say, tell me about your day.
Yeah.
Tell me what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah.
shows an
Because
active
that's what's
interest,
expected of him. Yeah.
yeah, if he's able to, channel his maternal side, I believe a man can be maternal and a mother or a woman can be paternal as well. The more,
Yeah.
masculine energy of, really admonishing another child in the playground who beat up your kid, that requires a
Of
certain
course,
amount of
that's a
what they
maternal
refer to as
energy, of
the
course.
that's the paternal energy that no, you will not attack my child again. And the maternal one is the one who puts the child to sleep. So I believe both parents, in from a parenting perspective, need to exude both the male, the more sorry, the more. But I'm like mixing everything up. What's happening? I need another sip of water. So the maternal side, which is soft, gentle, caring, supportive, and the paternal
And the
side, which is
paternal side,
strong,
strong.
holding fort,
Right.
setting the tone, being protective, putting up armor. Both these sides are present in all human beings, and I think you need to be able to know which situation demands which side of yours to
Yeah.
manifest. So you
Yeah.
cannot be stuck
Yeah.
within your personality. Oh, I will react to every situation in this predictable way. You have to dynamically change how you approach situations, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So allow your man to also be in touch with his feminine side,
Yes,
to
let
be
him, let
able
him,
to express and unload,
let him,
without
yeah.
judging him.
He'll get
Yeah.
tired, otherwise. And everyone
Yeah.
gets tired. There are some days I feel so tired as well. Everyone's feeling tired. This situation right now in India, the constant news, the barrage, where's the
Yeah.
remdesivir
Yeah.
injection? Where the
Yeah.
hell is the hospital bed available? Where are the oxygen
Yeah.
cylinders available?
Yeah.
Where's the nearest RT-PCR test happening? Where are the plasma providers available? What are the new mandates? Which ward, which officer? There is a
Yeah.
fatigue in society right now.
Yeah.
Even if there
Yeah.
was no pandemic, there is a fatigue that will enter your household whether you like it or not. Do you
Yeah.
understand me?
Yeah.
So you have to be accepting of fatigue. Don't reject it. Don't reject
Yeah.
it. Accept the fatigue. Accept it as part of life and work together to address it. ताकि आप दोनों का दर्द थोड़ा सा कम हो जाए. If you cannot
Of
eliminate
course.
pain from each other's lives, as much as you'd love to do that, but you can mitigate the struggle by being
Yeah.
a good supportive force and, as I said, adapting dynamically to the situation and really giving your partner what they need in that moment from you. What can you offer? This is a very good question to ask your partner. What can I offer you right now that will make you feel happier, safer, more comfortable, or generally at peace? You don't have to ask it in such a technical way, but you can phrase it in the way that is, more natural to you. So, what can I do to make things better? Or what can I do to improve the current situation?
I feel like a question like this may not always elicit an answer,
Yeah,
but
sometimes
the
it won't.
person is definitely going to walk back feeling much lighter, more cared
Absolutely.
for, more
Yeah,
supported, and a general offload will happen anyways, just
absolutely.
because you're being
Sometimes
asked
people
this
will,
question.
because people have also been conditioned that, oh, no, no, kuch nahi hua, kuch nahi hua. They've been told, like, I remember when I used to see these two cousins of mine get into fights, and their mothers would come, kuch nahi hua, y'all are brothers, come and hug each other. Oh, kuch nahi hua, kuch nahi hua. Chhod do, chhod do, chhod do. Forget about it, forget about it. This is
Yeah.
family. This is family. So don't force a person to not feel a certain emotion. If they're crying, let them cry. If they're seething with rage, let them seethe with rage. All right. Of course, don't let them kill each other. Maybe isolate them in two different rooms, but let the emotion be processed. So some people particularly, censor their emotions. So if you go and ask them, what can I offer you to make things better? They may say, no, I'm fine. I don't need anything. It's okay. Yeah, I'm okay. But you know with the body language that they're so not okay. Then you follow
Yeah.
that up and say, whenever you are ready to talk, to engage, to share, I'm waiting right here for you. I'm not going to force you. Because right now, maybe it's not easy for you to come to terms
Yeah.
with this situation, which is why I
Sometimes you can't.
value, yeah. Sorry, bolo, bolo, bolo.
Some, sometimes you can't identify your own emotions. You don't know what's going on with you,
You
so how do you
can't.
express it? Yeah.
Exactly. So then you take time, you ask for time, and the opposite person has to give time. As awkward or uncomfortable as it may seem, sometimes you got to give the other person time. All right. Jai Mata Di, someone is saying. Someone, hello, Sunavya. Sunavya is my family from Amritsar. Who else is here?
Oh,
All right.
sweet,
Yes, use this
sweet.
with your daughter, son, mother-in-law as well. Offer the relationship something. Remember this, guys. A relationship's like a well, and a lot of wells will run dry. So not you don't just have to draw water from the well. You also got to make sure that the source is replenished. So the well is always full, right?
Yes, a well is always full. That is true.
Absolutely. तो उसमें पानी डालो भी, सिर्फ निकालो मत. So the relationship needs to also benefit from nurturance, from care, from communication, from trust. It has to be built over time.
Work-related stresses due to COVID situation, current and last year, doesn't this affect in a relationship and how do you cope up?
You talk to your partner about it. You say that work is doing a number on me. I'm challenged. I'm tired. I'm confused. And because of that, at sometimes I may not be at my 100%, but I hope you can give me some time to figure out what's the way forward. And if you have ideas, I'm waiting for suggestions. We can talk about it. So it's very important to make your partner a collaborator in the road ahead, because sometimes good ideas, like when I was in the creative field many years ago. My one of my seniors used to say a good idea can come from anywhere, not just from someone in the creative team. You'd be surprised sometimes how
Hmm.
someone completely unexpected, the janitor, can have a great idea. So always mine for suggestions. You've got to be like a miner, mine for suggestions and ideas from everywhere. All right. And always connect with experts at the same time. Professionals are there to help guide you through your career. You can, even I do a bit of career coaching. So sometimes I have clients say, "Oh, this business of mine, it didn't work out. What do I do next?" So I try to understand what their tastes are, what their, interests are, so that I can tell them that maybe this is an area of your life that you can develop. You get good enough at anything, people will pay you for your services. That's what I believe. You got to get good at it though first. So you got to put
Yeah.
in the time, do the reading, do the online courses, all right? Really develop the domain knowledge. So yeah,
Yeah. What is your
I have no
partner
idea.
is not okay being
Something in
vulnerable?
Hindi has been typed here.
Okay. What if your partner is not okay being vulnerable with you?
You ask them why they're not okay being vulnerable with you. Is it how they've been conditioned, or is it because they don't believe that you have the emotional maturity to have a dialogue
Hmm.
with them that will mitigate their troubles or that will address their issues? So you got to
Are
talk
they
it out.
feeling safe? Are they
Are
feeling
they
safe
feeling
with you?
safe enough? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then there's a reason. If they're not safe with anyone, they're not even going to talk to their own, family about it. Then that's a trait that is seen across all interactions in all significant relationships. So then it's not just localized to the two of you. So you got to investigate these things a little deeper. So sometimes to draw information out is also an art. It's what counselors
Yeah.
do. We have to give clients the confidence that if I seek information for them, it won't be just to tickle my academic curiosity about what is happening with them, but it's to genuinely want to get into their mind and really help them through whatever it is that they're struggling with. So earnestness, sincerity, integrity, honesty has to be
Yeah.
communicated in your intent,
Yeah. Yeah. And I also
especially
feel
in,
a lot of times, yes,
Mhm.
please go ahead.
No, I said, especially if you're in this profession, you got to
Yeah,
communicate it, not just feel it.
absolutely. I also feel a lot of times that people are afraid to be vulnerable due to past experiences. When
Yeah.
partners use their vulnerable expression in further fights, like you couldn't even do that. What are you talking about? A lot
So
of
the partner
times,
is judging them. The partner says, "Oh, you overthink everything. Oh, you're oversensitive.
yeah,
Oh, you're over
yeah,
emotional. Or everything's."
yeah,
So I don't understand what this over and under is. Based on what yardsticks? Based on what measuring scale?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
you cannot
absolutely.
measure a person's emotional trajectory in centimeters or milliliters. There is no absolute measurement of a person's emotional trajectory.
Yeah,
So instead of
yeah,
being dismissive or instead of subtracting from what they are experiencing, just listen to what they want to say because it's probably quite hard for them to say. Some people are conditioned as well to really bottle it in. No, 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 I will not say what I'm going through. And maybe it's really
yeah,
hard for them to say what they're going through. Maybe
yeah,
because of
yeah,
how they were brought up, because maybe every time they tried saying what they feel, they were ridiculed or they were saying, Arey tumhara to chalta rehta hai. It's very important for the partner to feel that they are being held in a safe space by you. You may not be a trained counselor, but you can at least try your best to be a good listener. That's the least you can do. Keep quiet and listen.
a lot of healing happens just by listening. Sometimes
Yes,
you just hear someone out, let them unload, offload. A lot of healing just happens by doing that. You don't always have to give someone advice and give them a direction.
absolutely. They're not
Yeah,
sometimes looking for a solution. They're just looking for, a kind and empathetic individual to sort of be there with them in that moment. Without saying,
yeah,
"Arey, तुम्हारा तो problem चलता रहता है. Arey, you're always full of drama. Arey, why you always overthink these
yeah,
things?" So one of the
yeah.
meanest things you can do to someone, that why you think too much. Hey, what am I? I'm a
Yeah.
human being. I'm alive. Of course, I'm going to think about things that are
Of
relevant to
course,
me. All right.
of
So
course.
analysis is a part of the human experience. Animals don't analyze as much. They are usually very simple creatures. They're more concerned with, procreating, food, and rest. That's it.
Yeah,
Three
yeah,
things. That's
yeah.
it. I want to sleep. I want to hump. I want to eat. Animals are very basic, which is why we love watching them on in documentaries. कितना क्या बढ़िया है यार. Hunt or be hunted. The human beings, we
No,
have things like guilt, we have things like culture, we have things like loyalty, honor. So it's a very nuanced experience to be human, isn't it? Dog doesn't
yeah, but
care
then I
whether it's
love.
1997 or 2021. मेरे को खाना मिल रहा है बस खत्म.
हाँ, मैं मेरा
Dog
मास्टर
doesn't
मैं
care.
मेरा मास्टर को काटूंगा अगर खाना नहीं देगा.
हाँ
That's
वो
me.
खा जाएगा आपको ऐसी क्या बात.
Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking about closing this session with basically talking about, I find a lot of people ask me, uh, do I need to be mentally ill to go to a counselor?
Not at all. Not at all. You
Mm,
just need to be having a bad day or frustrated with the fact that certain goals that you had set for yourself didn't play out a certain way, or you got to just feel like you're not be able to optimize your timetable or schedule, or that in your significant relationships, maybe you're not getting the credit and respect you deserve. Any of these problems, and there are so many more I could list out, it would
yeah,
take another
yeah,
hour. If you feel emotionally challenged, go see a counselor. If you feel emotionally burdened, go see a counselor. If you feel like you're shut in and you're not able to really express what you're going through, but you just feel this horrible sinking feeling as if something's pulling you down to the depths, go see a counselor. All right. Or if you just are stuck professionally, you're not progressing in the speed or direction that you had envisioned for yourself, also go see a counselor.
right. So just cope, offload and cope.
Yeah. Yeah, go to the right person, go to the qualified professional who's able to help you. And of course, it's also a question of compatibility. How compatible are you with certain style of therapy? Because every therapist
Of
has a
course.
different approach. So my USP is I don't pull bullshit on my clients. I don't talk about positive thinking and being one with nature and the universe rewarding you and God loves you. I don't get into that. I said, all right, the world is extremely cruel sometimes. Things feel unfair. Sometimes you don't understand why certain so-called bad things are happening. So you got to be smart. You got to be agile. You got to be practical. You got to be rational, and you got to keep your boundaries ready if in case someone tries to jump over the fence and hurt you and demean you and erode all the work that you've been
Yeah.
putting in.
Yes.
So we don't live in an ideal world. This isn't utopia. So let's not pull any of that la la land bullshit. So what do you want to do?
Yes.
First, I try to help the client understand what they want to achieve. Then I help chart out a plan for them, and we try to walk along that road together. And I'm here for constant support.
Yes. Co-work. Co-work. Constant support with by empowering them, not just
Yes,
hand-holding them.
absolutely. Absolutely. Don't spoon feed them. Teach them how to fish. Don't fry the bombil fry and give it to them every time. All right. So you do it yourself. Fish it,
Yeah.
clean
Yeah.
it, gut it, scale it, cook it, eat it. Be
Yeah.
self-sufficient.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the key to everything, everything, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your work, whether it's everything, to be
Yeah.
empowered.
Don't be scared to speak up and speak out, and don't be scared. I tell people it's all right. Like I tell people, I don't bite. Okay, I'm here to help you. I'm here to understand what's happening. I'm not here to sort of put you in a cage and say, oh no, you are the patient, you are the client. You're so messed up. Why did you do this? I say your family and friends are doing enough of that to you already. I'm here to, put a smile back on your face by showing you who you really are and to help you understand the
Absolutely.
patterns that you are a prisoner to so that you can stop being a prisoner and start being a free individual, free to do what you
Yes,
want, free to learn what you
yes.
want.
So you do not have to be mentally ill or mentally unstable or mentally warped or a psychopath or any of these
My
terms that
God,
you give
psychopath.
people.
Where's my knife?
People.
Chaku leke.
Yeah, terms that you give people if you need therapy. It can just be purely because you just cannot cope at this point.
Yes. And because you're being judged or you're being misdirected or you're experiencing extreme amounts of guilt or trauma or sadness or just general, disillusionment with the world or with
Yes,
your life or your career or your
yes,
partner's behavior
yes,
with you. Disillusionment is a good
yeah.
enough reason.
Yes, your tummy ache could be because of acid reflux, constipation, bad food,
Any
stress,
number of things, right? Any
any
number of
number of
things.
things. Yeah,
What are
yeah.
the tummy aches
So
and all? Huh? So any all good. You've
I
not
don't
eaten
know.
like Domino's pizza
Yeah,
mat khao. Huh? You get tummy aches from
no,
that. Sorry, Domino's.
no,
Horrible pizzas.
Nupin. Yeah. No, no. Anyways, so it was lovely chatting with you. I have
My
really
pleasure.
enjoyed, and thank you all for joining in.
All right.
And hopefully, we'll do a session soon.
Absolutely. Sohini, absolutely pleasure to have you as my student, to have you as the host, to have you as a dost. And you've been I like these little summaries that you were doing after I was making points. I think Sohini and I can talk for hours, but I really hope you guys have gotten some value out of this. I hope you've learned some new things today and some interesting things today. All right. So yeah, and I'll be putting this video up on my YouTube channel, Dr. Aman Bhonsle. All my Insta lives and talks are there, and you can see me in a variety of hairstyles out there. Okay.
See you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Sohini.
Bye bye. See you.
Bye.